They say that in the stillness between heartbeats, in the whisper of wind brushing the leaves, and even in the silence before thunder roars, something moves. A power, unseen, eternal, shaping, commanding, and breathing life into all that exists. The Yoruba people call it Aṣẹ. It is said that every word ever spoken, every drumbeat that calls the Orishas, every sunrise and every dream happens because of it. Once, in 1949, during a brutal drought in Osogbo, Nigeria, a Babalawo, a Yoruba priest, stepped into the village square, raised his hands toward the gray sky, and whispered words no one understood. Within minutes, thunder cracked, and rain began to fall. Witnesses swore it wasn't coincidence. It was Aṣẹ, the divine command made real. What is this mysterious force that shapes reality itself? Tonight, we journey deep into the heart of Yoruba cosmology to uncover the truth behind Aṣẹ, the divine life force of the Orishas. So, sit back, because this is Africa Unveiled. Before we dive in, I know many of you are watching from around the world, united by a love for Africa. Drop a comment and let me know where you're tuning in from. I'll be in the comments engaging with you. And if you're enjoying the content, a like and subscription would truly mean the world to me. All right, let's get back to the video. Aṣẹ is not merely energy. It is conscious, alive, and divine. In the Yoruba worldview, Aṣẹ is the spiritual current flowing through all creation, the essence that makes a river flow, a tree grow, and a god speak. It is the command that turns thought into being. To the uninitiated, it may sound like magic, but to those who understand, it is the very language of existence. When a mother prays for her child, when a drummer calls to Ogun with sacred rhythms, or when a storyteller's words ignite the spirit of an audience, Aṣẹ moves through them. It is said that Olódùmarè, the Supreme Being, spoke the universe into existence through the power of Aṣẹ. And ever since that first breath, everything in creation, humans, animals, rivers, stones, even the wind, carries a spark of that same divine command. But Aṣẹ is not blind energy like fire or lightning. It has intention. It listens. It responds to alignment, to truth, to purpose. And when called upon with purity of heart, it acts. Long ago, a verse was said to have been passed down among the highest initiated priests, a verse so sacred that only those spiritually prepared could hear it without trembling. It was known simply as Oro ti inji Aṣẹ, the word that awakens power. No one outside the inner sanctum knew the full incantation, but rumor had it that when spoken with perfect intention and rhythm, it could bend reality itself, summoning rain, halting disease, or guiding lost souls back to life's path. Across Yoruba lands, tales circulate of those who carried great Aṣẹ in their voices, a king whose decree could silence a battlefield, a woman whose songs could calm angry spirits, and an aged herbalist who once healed a dying child by whispering into water before giving it to drink. Those who witnessed such acts never forgot. They said they felt something shift in the air, a pulse that made their hearts tremble. That was Aṣẹ, moving. Even today, elders say, without Aṣẹ, even the gods are silent. In Yoruba cosmology, Aṣẹ is the invisible link between the divine and the living. It is why words matter, because every word carries potential. Every blessing, every curse, every prayer releases Aṣẹ. To speak is to create, to act is to command, and to live with awareness of your Aṣẹ is to walk in harmony with the divine rhythm of existence. So when the rain falls after a sacred chant, or when a wish whispered with faith becomes reality, the Yoruba do not call it luck. They call it Aṣẹ. Before the first dawn ever touched the earth, before the rivers carved their names into the soil, there was only Olódùmarè, the Supreme Being, the infinite source of all that is and all that will ever be. From Olódùmarè came light, life, and Aṣẹ, the divine current that holds the universe together. In the very beginning, the universe was silent. The stars had not yet been told to shine. The earth had not yet taken form. The winds waited, still and listening. Then Olódùmarè spoke, and from that first sacred utterance came the vibration of creation itself. That vibration was Aṣẹ. The Yoruba say that Olódùmarè did not simply create the world, but commanded it into being through the power of Aṣẹ. Every word, every breath from that divine source carried purpose, direction, and life. Through that sacred force, the Orishas, the divine emissaries and powers of nature, were brought forth. Each Orisha was given a portion of Aṣẹ, a sacred measure of divine authority. Obatala, the sculptor of humanity, received the power to mold life from clay. Oshun, the goddess of the rivers, was given the sweetness of love, fertility, and grace. Ogun, the warrior of iron, carried the fire of strength and transformation. Yemaya, mother of the seas, held the Aṣẹ of creation and nurture, and Eshu, the divine messenger, was entrusted with carrying Aṣẹ, the spiritual command, between the realms of gods and mortals. Through them, the world took form, mountain and valley, ocean and sky, day and night, all moving to the eternal rhythm of Aṣẹ. The Yoruba believe that Aṣẹ flows like a descending river of divine energy from Olódùmarè to the Orishas, to the ancestors, and finally, to humanity. Like sunlight passing through the branches of a great tree to reach the forest floor, Aṣẹ moves through every layer of existence. It is why the ancestors are honored, because their Aṣẹ continues to guide and protect the living. It is why the Orishas are worshipped, because through them, the divine command of Olódùmarè remains alive. But Aṣẹ is not given equally. Some are born with a greater share, those destined to lead, to heal, to create, to inspire. These are called Aṣáájú Aṣẹ, those who carry power ahead of them. Priests and priestesses, kings and queens, drummers, poets, and storytellers, all who move others with words or presence, are believed to carry potent Aṣẹ. You can feel it in them, that quiet confidence, that energy that shapes the space around them, that invisible authority that needs no crown. Aṣẹ is not always inherited by blood. Sometimes it awakens through destiny, sometimes through discipline, sometimes through divine favor. Even a humble farmer, if his heart aligns with truth, may carry Aṣẹ powerful enough to move mountains. Among the oldest Yoruba traditions, there is a whispered story of the Ẹ̀mí Olódùmarè, the breath of Olódùmarè. It is said that when the Creator exhaled to bring life into the world, a fragment of that sacred breath remained, hidden within the verses of Ifá, the Yoruba system of divine wisdom. Only the most enlightened Babalawo, the priests of Ifá, are believed to have glimpsed its trace within the sacred verses called Odu Ifá. One of these verses says, Aṣẹ ninda Ayẹ, Aṣẹ ninda Orun, Aṣẹ ninda Ohun Gbogbo. Aṣẹ creates the earth. Aṣẹ creates the heavens. Aṣẹ creates all things. Some say that within these ancient words lies the vibration of the Creator's first command, the sound that sustains all existence. But to speak it without spiritual preparation, the elders warn, is like trying to hold lightning in your bare hands. Throughout Yoruba history, sacred rituals were said to amplify a person's Aṣẹ, allowing them, for a brief moment, to channel more divine energy than their body could normally hold. These rites were performed only by priests and initiated elders, often under moonlight, beside sacred rivers, or before ancestral shrines. Drums would thunder, voices would rise, the air would thicken with incense and chant, and in that moment, something unseen would awaken. An elder from Oyo once said, "When we called upon Orunmila with pure hearts, the world stood still. Even the trees held their breath. We knew Olódùmarè was listening." In those sacred gatherings, Aṣẹ flowed through everything, through the rhythm of the drums, through the voices of the people, through the silence between the notes. It was never something to possess. It was something to enter into. A living relationship between humanity and the divine. To understand Aṣẹ is to understand creation itself. In Yoruba cosmology, the universe is not static. It is alive, breathing, expanding, and responding. Aṣẹ is the heartbeat of that living cosmos. When Obatala shaped the first humans from clay, they were only empty shells. It was Olódùmarè's breath, Aṣẹ, that filled them with life. When rivers flow, it is Oshun's Aṣẹ guiding their current. When lightning strikes, it is Shango's Aṣẹ, expressing divine judgment. Without Aṣẹ, nothing can move, act, or exist. Even death, in Yoruba belief, is not an ending. It is a transformation, a shift in vibration, the continuation of Aṣẹ in another form. This flow of divine energy creates a sacred balance between heaven, Run, earth, Aye, and the unseen world, Iporun. Every being, every spirit, every living thing plays its part in this cosmic harmony. Olódùmarè is the infinite source. The Orishas are the channels and guardians. The ancestors sustain it through memory and presence, and humanity continues it through action and intention. The Yoruba say, "Kosi ohunti Aṣẹ ko leda." There is nothing Aṣẹ cannot create, but with that power comes responsibility. To misuse Aṣẹ, to speak without truth, to act without humility, brings imbalance. That is why Yoruba wisdom teaches that Uwa Pele, good and gentle character, stands above all power. For only a heart aligned with truth can hold Aṣẹ without being consumed by it. And so, through Olódùmarè's breath, through the hands of the Orishas, and through the souls of our ancestors, Aṣẹ continues to flow. In every sunrise, in every heartbeat, and in every word spoken with intention. Aṣẹ is not just a myth, it is the pulse of creation. A reminder that within every human being lies a spark of that same divine command, the power that once shaped the stars. How do you recognize someone who carries the mysterious force of Aṣẹ? Can it be seen or only felt? Among the Yoruba, it is said that Aṣẹ reveals itself quietly, not in loud displays of power, but in presence. To feel a person's Aṣẹ is to feel a subtle pull, like gravity. You may not understand why, but something inside you listens when they speak. Their words carry weight. Their silence commands respect. When they enter a room, the air itself seems to shift. Elders in Yoruba land often say, "Aṣẹ ni nsoro, ki ise ahon." It is Aṣẹ that speaks, not the tongue. True influence does not come from speech alone. It comes from the divine force that backs it. People with strong Aṣẹ are believed to carry a kind of radiance, not physical beauty, but a magnetic glow others sense instantly. Children and animals are drawn to them, The troubled find calm in their presence. Even the skeptical, without knowing why, tend to listen. This glow is not imagined. In Yoruba cosmology, Aṣẹ flows through the Ori, the inner consciousness and destiny of every person. When a person is aligned with their Ori, their Aṣẹ shines unblocked, clear, and strong. Those who carry it rarely need to boast. Calmness becomes their crown, humility their weapon. Their mere presence reminds others of something sacred, an ancient power unseen, but deeply felt. The Yoruba teach that Aṣẹ expresses itself through character, not appearance. Those with potent Aṣẹ share timeless qualities. Charisma. Their words inspire effortlessly. They attract rather than force. Intuition. They sense right from wrong before others can see it. Courage. Even in fear, they act with conviction, as if guided by unseen hands. Calm power. Their stillness commands attention. They need no shouting. Creativity. Musicians, poets, and artists channel Aṣẹ through their art, touching souls. Wisdom and empathy. They see the divine patterns in life and treat it with deep respect. But the Yoruba warn, Aṣẹ amplifies both light and shadow. Guided by pride or anger, it can burn. Guided by love and humility, it heals and uplifts. Some traditions say those with strong Aṣẹ display subtle physical or spiritual signs, a peculiar brightness in the eyes, a rhythm in their movements that feels almost musical, dreams that come true, words, whether blessings or curses, that manifest quickly. These are not superstitions. They are signs of alignment. A Yoruba proverb reminds us, Ohun ti aba so ni enu, ni orun ningabo. Whatever we speak with our mouths, heaven hears. When someone with strong Aṣẹ speaks, heaven listens more closely because their words carry divine authority. Priests have reported seeing faint auras or feeling heat from the bodies of those with Aṣẹ during rituals. Some are born with ancestral Aṣẹ, inherited through lineages tracing back to ancient kings, healers, or even Orishas themselves. Throughout African history, men and women whose presence was more than human have been celebrated. Their Aṣẹ shaped kingdoms, healed the sick, and inspired nations. In the old Oyo Empire, the Alaafin, the king, was said to possess Aṣẹ so strong that even gestures carried command. When he raised his hand, messengers moved. When he smiled, drums began. His words were law, not just by title, but by divine force. Drummers, too, carried concentrated Aṣẹ. Through rhythm, they could summon Orishas. A master striking the bata drum perfectly could summon spirits to dance among the living. Healers, diviners, and herbalists carried Aṣẹ in prayer. Their chants were not mere words. They were commands woven into melody, vibrating with divine intention. Even storytellers were vessels of Aṣẹ. When a griot spoke before a fire, words could lift hearts, stir tears, awaken pride. The Yoruba say, Akoso ni nda Aṣẹ sile. The storyteller gives birth to Aṣẹ. Stories were never just entertainment. They were acts of creation, weaving human and spiritual worlds together through the living thread of speech. Far across the Atlantic, in Bahia, Brazil, the legacy of Aṣẹ continued. During a Candomble ceremony in the 1960s, witnesses described a young laborer entering a trance as drums called the Orishas. Her body trembled. Her voice chanted in fluent ancient Yoruba. Words recognized by elders as sacred invocations, rarely heard outside West Africa. Drummers stopped, mesmerized. The observing priestess whispered, Aṣẹ tijininu re. The Aṣẹ has awakened within her. Afterward, the woman remembered nothing of the language she had spoken, but witnesses swore the air shimmered, as though reality itself had listened. They had seen pure living Aṣẹ, the same divine force flowing through ancestors, now speaking again through her. Even today, whispers among elders speak of people, musicians, leaders, visionaries, who unknowingly carry ancestral Aṣẹ. They influence multitudes without formal training as priests. They speak, and millions listen. They sing, and generations awaken. The Yoruba remind us, Omo ori rereko le sonu. A child born under a powerful destiny cannot hide it. Ancestral Aṣẹ never dies. It sleeps, waiting to awaken when the world needs it. Through drums, song, and creation, ancient powers find new voices. To sense Aṣẹ in another is to feel something familiar, as if you have met them beyond this world. It is not about fame or title, but vibration. When someone speaks truth with Aṣẹ, your body responds before your mind does. Chills, warmth, sudden tears, all are signs. In moments of pure alignment, in prayer, creation, or love, you may feel it within yourself. A quiet surge of power, a deep knowing, a peace beyond explanation. That is your Aṣẹ answering. Many have tried to define Aṣẹ, yet it cannot be trapped in words. It is the whisper that moves oceans, the command that turns seed into forest, the breath of gods within human speech. When someone walks in harmony with their Ori, their Aṣẹ flows naturally, like a river finding its course. No ritual is needed, no secret incantation, only truth, humility, and courage. Aṣẹ does not belong to one person. It flows through all, the divine thread connecting creation, the living, and the ancestors. If you meet someone whose words touch your soul, whose presence calms your spirit, or whose art awakens something ancient within you, you have met a carrier of Aṣẹ, and in that moment, your own begins to stir. For Aṣẹ calls to Aṣẹ, always. Across the lands of Yoruba land, from the bustling city of Ibadan to the sacred groves of Sogbo, there are rhythms that are not merely heard, but deeply felt. The heartbeat of the drum, the whisper of the diviner's chant, the scent of burning herbs in the night air. Each of these is a language spoken to the unseen world. This is the way humanity speaks to the divine, and it is through this sacred conversation that Aṣẹ, the life force of all creation, is awakened, directed, and renewed. Aṣẹ is always present, like the air we breathe, but through ritual, it is focused. Through intention, it becomes visible. In Yoruba tradition, ritual is not superstition, it is science, the spiritual science of vibration. Every sound, every movement, every rhythm is chosen carefully because it carries frequency, and frequency carries Aṣẹ. When a Babalawo, a male priest, or an Ayanifa, a female priestess, performs a ritual, they are not merely performing a ceremony. They are aligning energies. The offerings, songs, prayers, and instruments all serve to harmonize the human world, which is called Aye, with the divine realm, known as Run. A typical invocation begins with the acknowledgement of Olódùmarè, the source of all Aṣẹ, followed by praise to Eshu Elegbara, the divine messenger. Eshu is always saluted first, for without him, no prayer or offering can reach the Orishas. He carries Aṣẹ across worlds, ensuring that every intention finds its destination. The priest's voice rises and falls in rhythm as he chants, Eshu Baba Mi, Eje Ki Ona Mi Si, Kig Bogbo Oro Timosoloni, Kun Fun Aṣẹ, which translates to, Eshu, my father, open my path. Let every word I speak today be filled with Aṣẹ. These words are more than prayer, they are command. Each syllable, each tone, vibrates with purpose, summoning the flow of unseen power. As the chants continue, the air begins to shift. There is a heaviness, not oppressive, but electric, as if something ancient and intelligent has entered the space. That is the presence of Aṣẹ responding. Music, dance, and drumming are central to Yoruba ritual because rhythm is creation itself. Drums are not merely instruments, they are living vessels of Aṣẹ. Each drumbeat mirrors the pulse of the universe. Each rhythm imitates the heartbeat of the Orishas. The Bata drums, for example, speak directly to Shango, the Orisha of thunder and justice. When played correctly, they do not just represent the divine, they summon it. In certain sacred festivals in Ile-Ife, drummers perform patterns so ancient that only the initiated can recognize them. When these rhythms are struck under moonlight, elders say the Orishas themselves descend, not as visions, but as vibrations felt in the body, stirring the soul. A witness from the 1970s described such a night. The drums spoke like thunder. The wind rose, and people fell into trance. It was as if fire and water danced together. The Orishas had come. That is Aṣẹ in motion, raw, rhythmic, and alive. Certain objects are believed to hold powerful concentrations of Aṣẹ. These are not random symbols. Each one is spiritually consecrated through ritual, song, and offering. The kola nut, known as Obi, is used in divination. Its breaking and interpretation connect human intention with divine wisdom. Each segment represents the dialogue between heaven and earth. Cowries, called Owo Eyo, once served as currency, now symbolize prosperity and are used to read messages from the Orishas. Beads, or eleke, worn around the neck or wrists, are not mere decorations but spiritual seals, each color linked to a specific Orisha and their Aṣẹ. The Opale chain, a sacred chain used in Ifa divination, communicates with Orunmila, the Orisha of wisdom. When cast, it translates divine guidance into patterns of truth. Even drums themselves, consecrated with animal offerings, prayers, and chants, must carry Aṣẹ before they can speak to the spirits. As the Yoruba say, a drum without Aṣẹ cannot call the gods. Used correctly, these objects are not merely tools. They become living extensions of divine energy. To awaken Aṣẹ within oneself or one's surroundings, traditional priests follow three guiding principles: intention, purity, and alignment. Intention, called Efi, is essential because Aṣẹ responds only to clear purpose. You cannot deceive it. It reads the heart before the words. A priest must approach every ritual with truth, knowing exactly what is being asked and why. Purity, called Mimo, is equally vital. Before invoking Aṣẹ, the body and spirit must be cleansed. Ritual baths made from herbs, such as basil, Nubuldia laevis, and Iwe Ewedu, remove spiritual blockages, preparing the vessel, the body, for the divine current. Alignment, known as Atosona, ensures that true Aṣẹ flows only when human will aligns with divine order. That is why divination always precedes ritual. Through Ifa, the priest confirms that the timing and purpose are approved by the Orishas. When intention, purity, and alignment converge, Aṣẹ moves freely, like lightning finding its path to the ground. In modern times, however, the word Aṣẹ has often been misunderstood outside its traditional context. It is sometimes confused with the Western idea of manifestation or positive energy. While both speak of creating reality through thought and intention, their foundations are very different. Manifestation, as popularly taught, centers the self. I attract, I desire, I want. Aṣẹ, on the other hand, centers divine order. It is not about forcing reality, but aligning with it. You cannot command Aṣẹ. You invite it through respect, character, and humility. If your Ori, your inner destiny, does not agree with your request, Aṣẹ will not obey. A Babalawo once explained, "The mouth can speak anything, but Aṣẹ listens only to truth." You do not control Aṣẹ, you cooperate with it. This is why Yoruba prayers often end with Aṣẹ, not as a demand, but as a sacred affirmation, meaning, may it be so, if it is aligned with divine will. Among the forests near the ancient city of Ife, there are whispers of hidden shrines, where priests once went to amplify their inner vision. Inside, only the sound of the wind through leaves and soft chanting could be heard. An old story tells of a priestess who entered such a shrine, seeking guidance for her people. Her elders instructed her to chant a sacred verse known as Orunmila, the Song of Light, for 7 nights under the new moon. On the 7th night, as her voice trembled with exhaustion, she felt something awaken within her, a vision that lasted only moments, but changed her life forever. When she returned to her village, her intuition was sharp, her speech clear, and her decisions just. People said her Aṣẹ had been renewed, her spirit polished by light. Elders still whisper that whoever finds such a shrine, if it still exists, may awaken similar clarity for 7 days and 7 nights. Believable or not, the lesson remains. Aṣẹ grows through devotion and discipline, not shortcuts or greed. While individuals may hold Aṣẹ, its power multiplies in unity. During Yoruba festivals, whether the Oshun Sogbo festival, the Egungun masquerades, or the celebrations of Shango, hundreds gather with shared intention. Each drumbeat, each clap, each chant becomes a channel for collective Aṣẹ. The atmosphere becomes electric. You can feel the vibration in your bones, the pulse in your heart syncing with the rhythm of the drums. It is said that during such moments, the veil between worlds thins, and the Orishas walk among their children once more. A Yoruba proverb explains, "The Aṣẹ of one person is not enough." True power arises when a community breathes together, speaks together, and celebrates together, reminding the world that Aṣẹ belongs to all creation. To channel Aṣẹ is to carry responsibility. It is not for showing off or bending others to one's will. It is a partnership between the divine and the human, a dialogue of respect. Elders often warn young initiates, power does not come before character. No amount of ritual can substitute for good character. Even the most sacred drum loses its voice if the drummer's heart is impure. That is why the greatest priests and priestesses are often the humblest. They know that Aṣẹ does not belong to them. They merely serve as vessels through which it flows. Through rituals, songs, dance, and prayer, humanity has learned to communicate with the invisible world. But Aṣẹ itself remains a living mystery, one that cannot be fully explained, only experienced. When the drums call and the spirits answer, when a healer's prayer restores life, or when a song lifts an entire community into joy, that is Aṣẹ revealed. It is the same force that once shaped the stars, now moving through the heartbeat of humankind. And so, the Yoruba continue to sing, to dance, and to pray, not to summon power for its own sake, but to remain in harmony with the current of creation. In every ritual, the goal is the same, to remember that we too are vessels of Aṣẹ. Every current of energy has two faces. Fire can warm a home, or it can destroy it. Water gives life, yet in excess, it drowns. So too with Aṣẹ, the invisible force that flows through every word, thought, and breath. Among the Yoruba, Elders teach that Aṣẹ itself is never evil. It is pure power, neutral, balanced, eternal. But in the hands of a person with an unclean heart, that same power can twist into something heavy and dangerous. The Yoruba call this misuse Aṣẹ Buruku, meaning spoiled or corrupted Aṣẹ. Aṣẹ follows character. When someone acts out of envy, greed, or revenge, their inner vibration changes. Instead of harmony, they create dissonance, like striking the wrong note in a sacred song. That dissonance still moves through the world. It still creates effects. But those effects bring imbalance, sickness, confusion, spiritual blindness. Elders often explain it through a simple image. When pure water flows through a dirty calabash, it cannot remain clean. The calabash is the human heart. No matter how strong your chants, no matter how costly your offerings, Aṣẹ will always reflect what lives inside you. Throughout Yoruba history, there have been those who sought to control Aṣẹ rather than serve it. They are known in whispers as Aje, so, or in modern speech, witches and sorcerers. Yet their story is complex. In the oldest traditions, Aje were not automatically evil. They were the hidden mothers of power, women born with deep spiritual sensitivity, able to travel in dreams and perceive unseen currents. But over centuries, some turned away from balance. Instead of using Aṣẹ for healing or protection, they began to feed on fear, jealousy, and domination. Legends tell of markets that vanished overnight because an angry Aje withdrew her blessing, of farmers whose fields refused to grow because they mocked a woman rumored to carry shadow power. Whether literal or symbolic, these tales remind us that energy follows intention. To wound others with Aṣẹ is to wound the very web that sustains oneself. One story often told by storytellers around Oyo speaks of Adekunle, a gifted diviner whose pride eclipsed his wisdom. He could read the opal chain, the sacred tool of Ifa divination, with unmatched accuracy. Kings consulted him, warriors trusted him, and even priests came seeking his counsel. But admiration turned to arrogance. When his predictions began to fail, Adekunle blamed others instead of examining his own impatience. He performed rituals not sanctioned by Ifa, mixing foreign charms with sacred chants, hoping to multiply his power. For a time, it seemed to work. Clients flocked to him, and his name carried weight. Then the imbalance came. His dreams filled with smoke. The sound of drums haunted him. Crops around his compound withered. Eventually, Adekunle himself fell ill, not of the body, but of the spirit. A Babalawo who examined him said only one sentence. He tried to drink the ocean of Aṣẹ through a straw. It is said that before his death, Adekunle confessed that every shortcut he took left a stain upon his own Ori, his inner destiny. His story survives as a soft warning. Do not seek to own what was meant to flow through you. Some traditions within Yoruba cosmology acknowledge that Aṣẹ can be sent as a curse or a binding. But such acts are bound by a cosmic law, the law of return. What one sends out must pass through the sender first. Therefore, a curse never leaves untouched the heart that forged it. The Yoruba say, the power you use to burn another will first heat your own hand. Because of this, wise priests refuse requests for revenge magic. Instead, they perform rituals of cooling, washing away anger, settling dust, restoring balance. True mastery of Aṣẹ lies not in attack, but in restoration. When Aṣẹ becomes polluted by wrongdoing, lies, or misuse, the Yoruba perform Ebo Iwefa, the ritual of cleansing sacrifice. It may involve water gathered at dawn, palm oil, white cloth, and simple words of release. The goal is not punishment, but purification, returning Aṣẹ to its natural flowing state. Many modern people think of cleansing as symbolic, but to Yoruba priests, it is vibrational. A room thick with anger feels heavy because its Aṣẹ is clogged. A sincere prayer, fresh water, or even the sound of laughter can begin to clear it. That is why elders say that children's laughter is a sign of spiritual health in a home. Every word carries Aṣẹ. That truth, so simple, is also perilous. A careless insult, a false accusation, a word spoken in rage, all of these release energy into motion. This is why Yoruba culture treasures the art of speech, known as Orishas, speaking with awareness. Before elders address a crowd, they often pause, touch the tip of a finger to water, and whisper, "May my own words not destroy me." It is a moment of humility, a reminder that language itself is sacred technology. In the modern world, some outsiders approach Yoruba spirituality through online trends or commercial rituals, mixing sacred chants with foreign symbols for quick success or wealth. Elders view this as a form of spiritual pollution, not because outsiders cannot learn, but because intention has been replaced by spectacle. Aṣẹ cannot be bought or sold. It answers sincerity, not display. When used for greed, it becomes restless. When used for healing, it multiplies. The true initiate works quietly, unseen, ensuring every action honors both Orisha and community. Yoruba philosophy never erases the shadow. Darkness is not simply evil, it is the mirror that reveals what remains unhealed. When misfortune comes after misuse of Aṣẹ, it is not always punishment. Sometimes it is correction. Through suffering, one learns humility. Through loss, one learns gratitude. When balance is restored, the current of Aṣẹ flows stronger than before. Elders summarize this wisdom in a single proverb: without pain, there is no knowledge. To restore harmony after wrongdoing, the Yoruba prescribes simple but profound acts. Confession, or tewogba, is to speak the truth before your Ori and your elders. Naming the mistake removes its secret power. Reparation, or suna, is to make amends, even symbolically, to those harmed. A gift, a prayer, or service to the community rebalances the flow. Cleansing, or wefa, involves bathing in cool water, lighting white candles, calling upon Sun for emotional purification, and Obatala for clarity. Realignment through Ifa invites divination to learn what lesson the imbalance carries, followed precisely. Faith without discipline is incomplete. When these steps are followed with sincerity, Aṣẹ forgives, because it seeks only balance, never vengeance. Perhaps the highest form of mastery is silence. In silence, words cannot wound, energy cannot scatter. Great priests say that when one's inner rhythm becomes steady enough, merely being present can calm storms and heal conflict. This is called Aṣẹ Titi, the quiet power that needs no display. An old verse of Ifa declares, "The loud river floods its banks, the silent stream carves the rock." True Aṣẹ works in the same way, gentle, patient, unstoppable. The forbidden side of Aṣẹ is not a separate realm of darkness. It is a reminder that creation and destruction share the same source. Just as lightning and sunlight come from the same sky, benevolent and harmful energies arise from the same divine current. To walk the Yoruba path is to live with awareness, to know that every action, every word, every heartbeat adds color to the great fabric of existence. When that awareness is lost, Aṣẹ becomes shadow. When it is remembered, Aṣẹ becomes light. And so, before each ritual, before each sunrise, the wise still whisper a prayer older than memory. May my Aṣẹ serve harmony. May my words build, not break. May the power that lives in me honor the power that lives in all. Aṣẹ. When the ships left the shores of West Africa centuries ago, they did not carry only chains. They carried memory. They carried rhythm. They carried the invisible breath of the divine. Aṣẹ. Hidden in the hearts of those forced across the sea. It is said that when the Yoruba were taken into bondage, they whispered to the winds, Aṣẹ kò ní kú, meaning Aṣẹ will never die. And it never did. Across Cuba, Brazil, Haiti, Trinidad, and even the southern United States, the current of Aṣẹ continued to flow, silent at times, but alive, reshaping itself to survive. When the enslaved Yoruba arrived in the New World, they faced a world that tried to erase their gods, their language, and their names. But Aṣẹ cannot be erased. It hides in symbols, in songs, and in the rhythm of drums. In Cuba, Yoruba traditions fused with Catholic imagery to become Santeria, known as La Regla de Ocho. In Brazil, the same spirit emerged as Candomble. In Trinidad and parts of the Caribbean, it lived through Ifa and Shango Baptists. Even in the bayous of Louisiana, Aṣẹ whispered beneath the veil of voodoo. Each place gave the Orishas new faces, new names, but their essence remained the same. Obatala became linked with Our Lady of Mercy. Shango merged with Saint Barbara, still roaring with thunder in his hands. Ogun wore the mask of Saint George, his iron tools, now symbols of strength and work. Oshun, the river goddess of sweetness, was remembered through golden statues of Our Lady of Charity. Through these transformations, Aṣẹ adapted like water, changing shape but never losing its power to flow. Perhaps the most powerful vessel of Aṣẹ in the diaspora was, and remains, the drum. When Yoruba drummers play, they do not merely make music. They speak the tonal language of the gods. The Bata drums of Nigeria found their way into Havana, Bahia, and Port of Spain, carved again from wood, blessed with rum and smoke, and taught to speak the same ancient syllables. Shango, Kabiyesi, Obatala, Alagbaye, Oshun, Yaye-o. The sound was more than rhythm. It was communication. Even when overseers banned native languages, the slaves could still speak through drums. The Orishas could still be called through coded beats. And when the drummers played long enough, people entered trance, shaking, crying, laughing. The Orishas were believed to have descended to dance among their children. In the city of Salvador, Brazil, one night in 1987, a famous torero, a temple of the Orishas, held a large festival to honor Shango. Over 300 people were said to fall into trance simultaneously when the drummers struck a certain rhythm. Witnesses claimed the air itself began to vibrate, like thunder without lightning. The priests called it O Aṣẹ do Trovão, the power of thunder. Few people know that during the colonial era, some Catholic priests secretly documented these rituals, not to destroy them, but out of awe. In the archives of old monasteries in Bahia and Havana, historians have discovered fragments of diaries describing nights when statues seemed to breathe, or the drums summoned unexplainable winds. One legend tells of a Jesuit scholar who recorded the chants of an Orisha ceremony using early phonograph technology. When he played the record back later, he reportedly heard voices singing that were not human, tones too deep and too layered for any single person to produce. The recording, according to rumor, vanished in a fire decades later. Some say the flames were part of the Aṣẹ reclaiming itself. Today, in places like Bahia, Brazil, the Orishas are no longer hidden. Their temples stand proudly. Women dressed in white dance in circles, their skirts flaring like waves. Each movement, each step, each drumbeat releases Aṣẹ into the air. In Cuba, Santeria priests known as Babalawos and Orishas still perform Ifa divination, the same sacred system born in Yoruba lands. They throw palm nuts, read the Odu verses, and invoke Olódùmarè through the name of Olofi. Even when words are mispronounced after centuries of evolution, believers say, Aṣẹ still recognizes intention. It is not the accent that calls the Orisha, an old Cuban priest once said. It is the heart. In Trinidad, drum festivals for Shango thunder through the night, a bridge between African gods and Caribbean souls. In Haiti, LWA spirits like Papa Legba and Erzuli bear resemblance to the Orishas, showing that the breath of Aṣẹ crossed more than geography. It crossed cultures. Modern scientists who study sound frequencies and collective consciousness might describe Aṣẹ. In other words, energy, vibration, biofield. But at its core, the idea is strikingly similar. When hundreds of people sing, chant, or drum in rhythm, their brainwaves synchronize, their heartbeats align. The air itself begins to carry measurable changes in vibration. To Yoruba elders, that is not science. It is simply Aṣẹ responding. They knew long ago that intention, sound, and emotion could alter reality's texture. Every prayer, every song, every focused act of love or anger sends ripples through the unseen field that connects all beings. Modern physics might call it resonance. Yoruba cosmology calls it Aṣẹ. In recent decades, thousands of Africans in the diaspora have begun to rediscover their spiritual roots. DNA tests, oral history projects, and cultural revival movements have inspired many to travel back to Nigeria, Benin, and Togo, tracing the path of their ancestors. A young woman from New York once described visiting Ile Ife for the first time. Standing before the sacred grove of Oshun, she said she felt an overwhelming vibration, a quiet hum under her feet. She knelt and began to weep without knowing why. An elder nearby smiled gently and said, "Your spirit remembers." That remembrance, that awakening, is also Aṣẹ. African musicians, poets, and artists around the world continue to channel Aṣẹ, whether they call it that or not. When Fela Kuti played his saxophone, many said his music carried the fire of Shango himself. When contemporary artists in Lagos, Rio, or Havana create, they often speak of feeling a flow, a state beyond thinking. That flow is Aṣẹ in motion, shaping rhythm, form, and emotion into existence. Even in hip-hop and spoken word, the idea of speaking things into being echoes Yoruba wisdom. Every time someone declares, "I am," they are unknowingly invoking Aṣẹ, the command of creation, through voice. Many people who have never heard the word Aṣẹ still live by its principle. When someone says Amen after a prayer, they are affirming energy into reality. When they clap 3 times to seal a wish, or knock on wood to prevent bad luck, they are unconsciously honoring the ancient belief that intention shapes events. Across cultures, from Asia to the Americas, similar currents appear. The Chinese concept of qi, the Indian prana, the Polynesian mana. Each one, in its own language, speaks of an intelligent force that links spirit and matter. Among all these, Aṣẹ stands as Africa's original articulation of that sacred truth. For the descendants of the enslaved, Aṣẹ became a thread of continuity, proof that even when everything else was stripped away, their ancestors' breath still lived inside them. Through lullabies, rhythm, cooking, and community, they kept the divine pulse alive. There is a saying among Candomble practitioners in Brazil: the sea is never angry at the river because the river carries its blood. In the same way, the diaspora and the motherland are not separate. They share one flow of Aṣẹ. Today, every time someone in Salvador dances for Oshun, or a drummer in Havana beats the bata in honor of Shango, that power circles the world and returns to Africa, like the tide returning home. Aṣẹ is the quiet current beneath all human movement, migration, music, memory, and faith. It is proof that even across the greatest suffering, something divine endures. Chains can break the body, but they cannot silence the force that speaks creation itself. The diaspora is not merely a story of loss, it is a story of transformation. Aṣẹ crossed the ocean, changed its language, learned to wear new masks, and yet remained whole. It reminds us that nothing sacred ever truly dies. It only transforms, waiting to be remembered. And when it is remembered, it awakens. Aṣẹ lives in every drumbeat, every prayer, every dream of freedom. It has never left us, and it never will. There is a moment in every soul's journey when the noise of the world fades and something ancient within begins to whisper. It may come as a dream, a quiet nudge, or an unexplainable yearning for meaning. That whisper is Aṣẹ, the divine energy of creation, the breath of existence, the spark that gives life its rhythm and direction. To awaken Aṣẹ is to remember that your life was never random. It was crafted with purpose, a purpose woven into your very being before you took your first breath. In Yoruba wisdom, every soul is born with an Ori, the inner head, the spiritual consciousness that carries your destiny. Before birth, it is said that your soul stands before Olódùmarè, the supreme source, to choose its path. You select the lessons, the gifts, and even the challenges that will shape your evolution on Earth. This divine contract, your Ayanmo, becomes the sacred script of your destiny. Yet, destiny does not unfold automatically. It must be activated, guided, and aligned. This is where Aṣẹ comes in, the animating power that allows your destiny to move, breathe, and manifest. Without Aṣẹ, even the most beautiful destiny remains dormant. But when your Aṣẹ awakens, your life begins to harmonize. Opportunities align. Intuition sharpens. You begin to walk in step with the rhythm of creation itself. Aṣẹ shapes your purpose not by force, but by resonance. It draws you toward what your soul already knows to be true. But there is a secret the elders have always known. Aṣẹ does not respond to arrogance or pretense. It bends toward truth, humility, and integrity. In Yoruba thought, the true foundation of power is wapele, gentle, good character. This virtue is not weakness, it is balance. It means living with calmness, patience, and respect for the interconnectedness of all things. A person may chant 1,000 incantations or wear the most sacred beads, but without wapele, their Aṣẹ remains unsteady, like water poured into a cracked calabash. To cultivate Aṣẹ is not to gather energy by domination, but to refine the vessel that carries it. Humility allows the energy to flow freely. Compassion aligns it with divine harmony. And authenticity, being true to who you are, amplifies it beyond measure. Aṣẹ cannot be faked. It recognizes the vibration of truth, the same way a drum recognizes its rhythm. When you act from your ego, chasing validation or power, your Aṣẹ becomes scattered and weak. But when you act from your essence, your Ori, it gathers strength, purpose, and clarity. Power is not in how loud your voice is, but in how aligned your spirit is. You cannot command Aṣẹ through force. It only responds to alignment. Imagine a flute. The breath, the energy, is the same, but if the flute is misaligned, the sound becomes noise. When it is straight and tuned, that same breath becomes music. So it is with you and Aṣẹ. The music of your destiny begins when your life is in tune with your truth. There was once a young woman named Adiola, born in London to Nigerian parents, who had long left their ancestral home. She grew up feeling divided, African in blood, but Western in identity. Though successful by every standard, something in her spirit felt muted, as though a vital part of her had been forgotten. One night, after months of exhaustion and restlessness, she dreamed she was standing in a vast golden field. An old woman approached her, wrapped in flowing white cloth, her face radiant, yet familiar. The woman said, "You have forgotten your voice, child. You left it at the crossroads when you forgot who you are." She reached out, touched Adiola's lips, and whispered a single word, Aṣẹ. When Adiola awoke, her heart was racing, her body trembling as if energy was coursing through her veins. That morning, for the first time in years, she felt drawn to speak Yoruba, a language she once resisted. Her voice, once hesitant, now carried warmth and gravity. In time, she began writing poetry inspired by her dreams, her ancestors, and her rediscovered roots. She said later, "It was like someone gave me my voice back, as if a river began flowing inside me again." Her story is not rare. Many across the diaspora speak of moments of awakening, of dreams, coincidences, or ancestral visitations that realign them with who they truly are. In Yoruba understanding, such an event is not fantasy, but Aṣẹ awakening, the soul remembering its original frequency. To live in alignment with your Aṣẹ is to become conscious of every thought, word, and action as a ripple in the spiritual current. It is to move with intention, to speak with awareness, and to create from the heart. The elders say, Aṣẹ resides where peace resides. This peace is not the absence of challenge, but the presence of clarity. It comes when you stop resisting your own path and begin to honor your Ori, your unique direction in the cosmic order. Alignment does not mean perfection. It means returning to center again and again. Each time you act with kindness, forgive with sincerity, or speak truthfully, your Aṣẹ expands. Each time you let go of envy, pride, or deceit, your Aṣẹ refines itself. The path of Aṣẹ is the path of gentle mastery, of becoming both student and vessel of divine power. There is an old teaching that says, before you were born, your Aṣẹ was chosen. Your energy, your gifts, even your voice, all were decided in the sacred realm before you arrived. Some chose the Aṣẹ of healing, others of leadership, artistry, teaching, or transformation. Your calling is not something to chase, it is something to remember. Your purpose is already within you, quietly waiting beneath the noise of fear and expectation. The more you live truthfully, the more you honor your Ori, practice Iwapele, and speak with sincerity, the more that hidden Aṣẹ begins to reveal itself in your everyday life. Close your eyes once more and take a deep breath. Feel the rhythm of your heart, the silent drum of your own universe. That pulse is not just biology, it is creation itself, echoing through you. You are not separate from Aṣẹ. You are Aṣẹ in human form. Every word you speak, every kindness you give, every dream you dare to follow, these are acts of creation flowing through you. Awakening, Aṣẹ, is not about becoming someone new. It is about remembering who you were before the world told you to forget. It is about walking with humility, loving with courage, and living with intention, so that every breath becomes an offering of purpose. Your life is not an accident. It is a continuation of an ancient promise, a sacred agreement made before time. To awaken Aṣẹ Within is to honor that promise and to live not as a shadow, but as light, aligned, purposeful, and fully alive.